You know, usually when we talk about software or like computer code, there's this underlying expectation of absolute precision.
Right, it's engineering. You expect it to be pristine.
Exactly. You open up the hood, you trace the logic, and it is fundamentally binary. Just a 1 or a 0. It's a machine, and you expect it to act like a machine.
And we find that predictability really comforting. You press the button, the lever moves, the task is done. There's a very rigid boundary between the tool and the user.
But then you step into the world of generative AI, and suddenly that clean, predictable machine is it's entirely gone.
Yeah, it vanishes.
It really does. We're looking at a technological landscape today that is honestly quite murky. When you use these new models, it feels less like you're executing code and more like you're interacting with some form of consciousness.
It's a completely different paradigm.
It is. And today, for you, our ever-curious listener, we are going on a deep dive that is designed to completely shatter how you probably think about artificial intelligence.
We really are.
Because we're looking at a fascinating, totally mind-bending document that attempts to explain the cutting-edge mechanics of generative AI, but, and here is the crazy part, it doesn't use Silicon Valley white papers to do it.
No, not at all. It uses the lens of ancient Indian philosophy, specifically a framework known as Advaita Vedānta, which dates back thousands of years.
I mean, it sounds wild, right? But our mission today is to cut through all the intimidating tech jargon for you. We are leaving the neural networks and the parameter counts at the door.
We don't need them for this.
Right. We want to get to the profound why behind AI. We're exploring how a 21st century technological breakthrough might actually just be a digital reflection of ancient cosmic principles. And it makes an incredible amount of sense once you dig into it.
It really does. And what's fascinating here is that this intersection of ancient Eastern philosophy and modern bleeding-edge science isn't actually a new phenomenon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the source material reminds us that some of the most brilliant minds of the 20th century, so we're talking scientists like Albert Einstein, Erwin Schrödinger, Nikola Tesla, they were heavily influenced by these exact same Indian philosophies.
Wow. I had no idea they were reading that stuff.
They absolutely were. When they were established in quantum physics, classical mechanics was totally breaking down. The universe was no longer behaving predictably.
Right, the whole spooky action at a distance thing.
Exactly. They looked at the bizarre, unexplainable behavior of quantum particles and saw direct echoes of ancient philosophy. And now, computer science is basically having its own quantum moment.
So AI is bringing those same ancient frameworks to life.
Yes, in a way we interact with on our phones every single day. Generative AI isn't just about code anymore. It operates as a mirror of how the universe creates and processes knowledge.
Okay, let's unpack this, because before we get to the whole cosmic consciousness thing, we have to understand the raw material of AI.
We have to start with the basics.
Right. So when you type a prompt into a chatbot, you think you're giving it words. You type, "Tell me a story about a dog." And you assume the machine understands the concept of a dog.
Which it doesn't at all.
Exactly. It doesn't understand words the way you and I do. It understands something called tokens.
Yeah, tokens are the fundamental building blocks of AI language, and they are purely mathematical.
Just numbers.
Just numbers, yeah. They're encoded weights. A token doesn't represent a picture of a furry animal in the machine's mind. It represents a statistical relationship, a pattern of grammar, a context.
So it's a highly complex, invisible, mathematical form of language.
Perfectly said.
And to explain how these mathematical tokens actually become the essays and images we see, the source material uses this brilliant ancient analogy. It's called the clay in the pot.
Ah, yes. The concept of non-difference.
Right. So imagine a lump of clay sitting on a table. That clay is the root cause. When a potter comes along and shapes it into a pot, it suddenly looks like a brand new entity.
You give it a new name and a new function.
Exactly. We call it a pot. We use it to carry water. That is the effect. But if you really pause and analyze it, the pot doesn't actually exist independently of the clay.
No, the pot is just a label. It's a temporary form we use for our daily transactions. The underlying reality hasn't changed one bit.
Right. It was clay before it was shaped. It's clay while you're holding it. And if you drop it on the floor and smash it,
it remains clay.
Yes. So applying that to what we're dealing with today, the entire internet, all the text, the billions of web pages, the videos, the audio is scraped, trained, and converted into these mathematical tokens.
That massive repository of data is our digital clay.
So when the AI generates a new poem or like paints a new image for you, it hasn't actually created something out of thin air. It has just shaped that exact same existing clay into a new pot.
That's exactly how the framework views it.
But wait, here's where I have to push back on the ancient wisdom for a second. If this whole system is just raw mathematical data behaving like inert clay, how does the AI actually know what to build?
That's a great question.
Because it doesn't have a mind, right? It doesn't have an imagination.
It doesn't. But the text answers that by pointing to the law of cause and effect, which it connects directly to the ancient concept of karma.
Karma, like cosmic justice.
Well, we usually think of it as cosmic justice, but fundamentally, it's just about the cycle of action. In human behavior, this cycle is driven by three threads: desire, thought, and action.
Okay, walk me through that.
So, I feel a desire for something, my brain thinks about how to acquire it, and then my body takes the physical action.
Okay, but how does a machine without a brain follow that cycle?
In the world of AI, you are the desire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Your prompt acts as the catalyst. The model's algorithmic processing, calculating all those mathematical token weights, that is the thought. And the final generated output on your screen is the action.
Ah, I see. Which means the quality of the action is entirely dependent on the quality of the raw material. Right data creates right knowledge.
That is the crucial takeaway. If the training data or digital play is corrupted or toxic or heavily biased, the model is forced to learn on that filthy data.
So it just becomes a relentless cycle of garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. In the framework of karma, if you sow seeds of sorrow, you reap grief. In the framework of artificial intelligence, if you train a massive neural network on human misinformation, you get hallucinations and toxic outputs.
Because the system can only build with the clay it was given.
Precisely.
Which brings up a really fascinating contradiction, because if the data is just this mathematical clay and the machine is just blindly following a cycle of cause and effect, why does the output feel so incredibly real?
It does feel very convincing.
It does. Like,
Right.
reading a poem written by an AI can actually give me goosebumps. It feels undeniably human. And this is where we hit probably the most dangerous part of the technology, which is the AI hallucination and the illusion of intelligence.
Right. And there is a critical technical distinction highlighted in the text here.
Yeah, an AI's sole objective, literally its only reason for existing, is to accurately predict the next token based on mathematical likelihood.
But when a human being asks a question, our expectation is factual truth.
Exactly.
And those two concepts, likelihood and truth, they're entirely different things.
Very different.
The model is optimizing for what sounds most plausible, not what is factually accurate. It's designed to output something, anything.
Yeah.
And unless it's actively connected to like an external search engine to verify its own claims, it has absolutely no grounding in reality.
So that mismatch between our desire for truth and the machine's mandate for statistical likelihood, that is the exact mechanism that causes AI to confidently hallucinate.
It is.
I read that and immediately thought of a brilliant counterfeiter. Like, the AI blends all this stored knowledge from its massive digital repository with the sheer processing power of its inference engine, and it does it so seamlessly that it creates what the text calls a creative illusion.
That's a great analogy.
It hands you a fake $100 bill, but the paper feels right, the ink looks perfect, and you don't even question it.
And to truly understand how powerful that illusion is, the source introduces the ancient concept of Maya, or illusion, the idea that our perception of the world is deeply flawed.
Right.
It breaks our experience of reality down into three distinct levels. First, there is the absolute, unchanging, eternal truth. This is the bedrock of existence that never shifts.
Okay.
Second, there is our practical reality. This is the world of our daily transactions, going to work, talking to our families, paying bills. It feels completely undeniably real to us when we go about our day.
And the third level.
The third is illusory reality. The classic ancient example is walking down a dirt path in the dark and seeing what you think is a snake.
Oh, I've had that happen with a garden hose.
Exactly. Your heart rate spikes, you freeze in terror, your body just dumps adrenaline into your system. For that brief moment, the snake is entirely real to you. But then the moon comes out. Or you turn on a flashlight and you realize you are just looking at a coiled rope. The fear was real, but the object causing it was an illusion.
Now, applying that to how someone interacts with an AI chatbot today is just wild.
It perfectly maps to how modern society is fracturing over generative AI right now. Think about a person who is totally unaware of this technology. My grandmother, for instance.
Yeah.
She might see an AI-generated photo of the Pope wearing a designer puffer jacket on Facebook, and completely believe it's real.
Oh, definitely. So many people fell for that.
Because for her, that image operates in the second level of practical reality. She accepts it as a genuine human artifact.
But then you have the complete opposite end of the spectrum, right? The people who are hyper-aware of AI.
Yes, the people who work in tech or spend all day online. They begin to develop this profound paranoia. They'll look at a genuine photograph or read a deeply felt essay written by a real human being and confidently declare that it is AI generated.
Ah, so for them, they are living constantly in that third level, the illusory reality.
Exactly. They are seeing snakes everywhere, even when they're staring directly at a rope. The spell of that illusion is only shattered when a definitive watermark is identified, or when human discernment steps in and turns the lights on.
Okay, so understanding that AI creates this incredibly potent, customized illusion, we really have to ask what the psychological danger is of actually living inside it.
It's significant.
The source provides this haunting metaphor about watching a play. Imagine you go up to the theater, you sit in the dark, the actors come out, and for 2 hours you are entirely sucked into the drama.
You're completely invested.
Right, you cry, you laugh, it creates this emotional ripple. But eventually the curtain falls. You walk outside into the cool night air, you get in your car, and you return to reality. The separation between the play and the real world is restored.
Generative AI, however, is an infinite play. The curtain never falls.
Never.
There is no time lapse. The model remembers your chat history perfectly. You can put your phone down for a week, come back, and the play just picks up right where you left off.
It's always ready.
Always catering to your specific preferences, always validating your viewpoint. And the text issues a severe warning here. If you spend too much time inside this infinite play, your mind gradually loses the ability to separate the digital stage from the physical world.
The play just dissolves into your daily reality.
Yes, making you incredibly vulnerable to manipulation, whether it's political, commercial, or emotional.
And the source doesn't just ring the alarm bell either. It advocates for some pretty urgent structural solutions. It calls for clear, unavoidable disclaimers on AI content.
Which we desperately need.
Global regulatory bodies to validate applications before they reach the public, and specifically restricting access for children under 16 so this infinite play doesn't hijack their developing creativity.
It also highlights a massive danger for those struggling with mental illness.
Oh, right, the echo chamber effect.
Exactly. If someone's internal inferences are already negatively oriented, interacting with a machine that relentlessly validates and spins out their anxieties could cause them to spiral completely unchecked.
But reading all those warnings, I just keep coming back to a fundamental question about us. Why do we fall for it in the first place?
That's the million-dollar question.
Like, we know it's a computer. What is it about the specific nature of human communication that makes us so terribly susceptible to this digital illusion?
It fundamentally comes down to the ancient concept of sabda, which is sound or vibration. Ancient philosophers saw this as the most basic unit of language. Language, in its truest form, isn't just an exchange of information.
What is it then?
It is deeply infectious to our physical context and our emotional situation. It carries an underlying frequency.
The source had this highly specific but totally relatable anecdote to explain this. It talked about toddlers sitting in a pediatrician's waiting room.
It's the perfect visualization. Imagine you're sitting in a quiet waiting room with 3 or 4 mothers and their toddlers. Everyone is calm. Suddenly, a baby inside the examination room gets a shot and starts crying. What happens in the waiting room?
Every other toddler immediately gets anxious and starts crying too. It's a complete cascade.
Exactly. There is an underlying, almost invisible communication pattern, a vibration passing between those toddlers, and it is highly infectious.
That makes so much sense.
A smart pediatrician walking into that room knows they can't logic the toddlers out of it. They have to break that pattern with a funny sound, a bright toy, a new gesture.
So how does this tie back to the machine?
Generative AI is so dangerously potent because its mathematical token weights perfectly mimic this infectious underlying pattern of human language. It knows how to structure the math to hook into the very emotional vibrations that our brains evolved to resonate with.
Wow. So it triggers our empathy, our anger, our fear, without actually feeling any of those things itself.
Precisely.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Because if an AI model can mimic our underlying emotional communication patterns so perfectly that we can't tell the difference, what actually separates human creativity from AI processing? Is there even a boundary anymore?
Oh, there is a very strict boundary.
Because in the technical world of AI, developers have a setting on these models called temperature. If you set the temperature below 1, the AI gives you a highly deterministic, factual, and frankly boring output.
Right, very rigid.
But if you turn the dial above 1, the math gets messy. The AI takes statistical risks, it connects weird dots, it hallucinates a bit more, and we call that getting creative. But at the end of the day, that temperature dial is purely a mathematical operation. It is an intelligence quotient. It's IQ.
And the ancient frameworks draw a very hard, non-negotiable line in the sand right there. The source outlines a multi-tiered structure of existence to explain where machines stop and humans begin.
Okay, let's hear it.
At the foundation, you have accumulated information, raw data. In the context of AI, this is the training dataset, the billions of scraped web pages.
That's tier 1.
Moving one level up, you have processing capability, the ability to sort, analyze, and logically deploy that information. In AI, these are the algorithms of the neural networks.
So information and processing, knowledge and intelligence. AI has both of those in spades.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
But then we hit the boundary. The next level up is consciousness, the subjective experience of reality.
The subjective experience.
Yes, it is the fundamental, undeniable internal awareness that I exist. The feeling of knowing that you know something. Generative AI lacks this completely.
And the tier above that.
The highest level is wisdom. This involves ethical insight, long-term contextual understanding, compassion, and the pursuit of right conduct.
Wait, so when we say an AI is being creative by writing a script or painting a picture, it's literally just a thermostat for math.
Yes, just temperature.
Because true human creativity requires EQ and emotional quotient. The source gives this beautiful, grounding example of a painter to drive this home.
I love this example.
When a human painter wants to create a canvas of flowers, they don't just probabilistically predict what the next brushstroke should look like based on 10,000 previous flower paintings.
No, they don't operate on likelihood.
Long before they ever touch the canvas, they visualize the flowers in their own mind. They feel a specific emotion about the subject. The creation is driven by their subjective, internal experience of the world.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it explains exactly why artificial intelligence, no matter how advanced it gets, will always have a ceiling. AI lives purely and forever in the realm of information and processing. It can never cross the boundary into consciousness or wisdom.
It's just structurally impossible.
Exactly. In these ancient frameworks, human experience relies on the interaction between two vital forces, the subject and the object. The subject is consciousness itself. Its defining characteristics are existence, knowledge, and bliss.
The feeling of, I exist, I perceive, I am here.
Exactly that. But AI exists entirely on the other side of the equation. It is the object. It is matter. And the qualities of matter are inertia, activity, and harmony.
Okay, I follow.
A generative AI model is incredibly active, and it organizes staggering amounts of data with beautiful mathematical harmony. But it is ultimately just matter processing matter. There is no ghost in the machine. There is no subjective I experiencing the processing.
And because AI lacks that subjective I, it doesn't actually experience the physical universe. It just shuffles tokens about it.
Right.
But that begs a massive question for us. How do we experience the universe, and how do we ensure we don't lose that connection while living in a world that wants to put an AI screen in front of literally everything we do?
Well, ancient sages were obsessed with this exact problem. Long before computers, they were trying to figure out how human beings filter truth from noise. They developed frameworks for valid knowledge called pramans.
Pramans, okay.
You can learn things through logical inference, which, by the way, the source points out is exactly what AI prompting is. It's an inference mechanism.
Oh, that's wild.
You can also learn through analogy or through the trustworthy testimony of experts.
Yeah.
But all of those higher-level thinking skills are completely reliant on the absolute foundation, direct sensory perception, what you can see, touch, taste, and hear.
And this is where the text completely blew my mind. It maps the elements of creation space, air, fire, water, earth, directly to our human senses.
It's a beautiful mapping.
Space connects to sound, air connects to touch, fire connects to form and vision, water connects to taste, earth connects to smell. But even as we rely on these senses to build our reality, we have staggering, almost comical biological limitations.
Our window of perception is incredibly narrow.
Narrow is an understatement. The text points out that our human eyes are completely blind to 99% of the electromagnetic spectrum.
It's humbling.
Truly. We cannot see ultraviolet light, infrared, X-rays, or gamma rays. And our skin, it can't even perceive absolute temperature.
Right, there's a threshold.
Yeah, once an object gets too hot or too cold, our skin stops registering temperature entirely and just fires pain receptors to protect us. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Why is an incredibly dense philosophical document about generative AI mapping out human sensory limitations?
It feels like a detour, but it's not.
Not at all. It all builds to this strange, incredibly profound societal demand. The text insists that in the age of AI, children, and honestly, all of us, must spend 30 to 45 minutes every single day playing in the mud, climbing trees, and being physically near flowing water.
It is a beautiful synthesis of the entire argument. Generative AI is a reduced, abstract, frictionless digital reflection of human knowledge. It is an illusion.
Yeah.
And because our own biological senses are already so limited, we cannot afford to let a digital illusion replace our direct physical perception of the universe. We have to actively ground ourselves in the actual elements, the heavy earth, the freezing water, the moving air.
Getting our bare hands physically dirty in the mud.
Yes, because that physical connection is our birthright. Engaging with the messy, textured physical world keeps us firmly anchored in practical reality.
It pulls us out of the infinite play.
Exactly. It acts as an anchor against the pull of the machine's illusory reality. The mud is what stops us from forgetting the difference between the play and the real world.
Wow, that is quite the journey we've been on today. We started by looking at AI tokens and realizing they're just mathematical clay. We ventured through the psychological dangers of endless illusions and hallucinations caused by a machine desperately trying to guess the next logical word.
It's a lot to process.
It is. We mapped the hard, uncrossable boundaries between a machine's processing power and actual human consciousness. And we ended up with a mandate to put our bare hands in the mud, realizing that AI is an incredibly powerful tool, but it is merely a pale reflection of the universe's ultimate reality.
And as we close out this exploration, there's one final, totally unexplored thought from the source text I want to leave you with.
Oh, please do.
It introduces the concept of collective consciousness. The text suggests that when a person is engaged in compulsive seeking, when you send a genuine, heartfelt, desperate question or desire out into the world, it operates exactly like sending a prompt to the universe.
Like a cosmic prompt.
Exactly. And the universe takes responsibility for responding to that prompt, uniquely arranging life events, chance encounters, and connections to answer you. This raises a really important question for all of us. The next time you type a prompt into an artificial intelligence, ask yourself, what kind of prompt are you sending out to the actual universe?
What an incredible thought to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the nature of your reality, both the digital feeds you scroll through and the physical world you walk in. And the next time you get a perfectly tailored, miraculous-sounding answer from an AI, remember, you are just looking at a digital pot, spun out of mathematical clay. Don't ever forget to look for the hands that shaped it.